Welcome to Action 5 Channel News Late Breaking with your host, Pedro Lopez, and your co-host, Kendon, Lucia, Isabella, Danielle, and Styles. Thank you. Tonight we're gonna cover a killer story. This killer is called Nathaniel Hawthorne. I would not approach this man. He's very dangerous. He has killed 4 people. I'm sorry. Officials have given us a description of the man. Nathaniel Hawthorne was born in July 4th, 1804 in Salem, Massachusetts. So if you live near Massachusetts, especially in the city Salem, I would run away. It's a very dangerous city. I'm not lying. Run away. Lock your doors. Close your windows. Sleep. Sleep tight. Don't go outside. Alright. And Hawthorne's family was ostracized and disdained by the Puritans' neighbor. Hawthorne was a shy and reclusive man who shunned public life. And that's how every killer starts. But his works were highly influential in his lifetime and remain popular to this day. Indeed, it is still popular. He's being covered by Piano Pedro. And the book of the day is called Young Goodman Brown. It was publicized in 1835. There's a short summary. It's not given, not all of it's given, because, you should read it. In the short story, Young Goodman Brown, Nathaniel Hawthorne presents the use of good and evil, association between characters, and a publicized virtue of morality to advance the happy expression of the story to a sad, darker vibe. The story takes place in New England in a Puritan society based around the main character, Goodman Brown, who lived happily with his beloved wife, Faith. Such a beautiful name. Goodman Brown was a strong Christian, and he was very content with his family's history, as they were strong believers of prayer and never condemned wickedness, but only good, until one day his interest brings him to leave his wife to have a meeting with an unknown old man that travels in the wood, who may not be as Puritan that he seems. Yes, there is more to this book, but I recommend this book to you. I don't actually. I don't like the book. I'm more of a sci-fi romantic person. But it's free. Young Goodman Brown. Search it up. You should find the PDF, and you're free to read it. Hope you love it. All right. Thank you, Styles, for giving us this summary. And we're gonna have the words of the day. Oh, I forgot to mention that that was a short story. Today's words of the day was Terry. Thank you, Isabella, for providing this for us. Terry, husbandman, alestachial, and benighted. Terry is verb, which stands for to wait for. Husbandman, which is a noun, which means a farmer. Ecclesiastical, which is an adjective relating to the Christian church or its clergy. Benighted, which is an adjective. In a stateful, which means in a stateful, pitiful, or contemptible, wow, that's a big word, intellectual or moral ignorance, typically owing a lack of opportunity. All right, now we're gonna move on with our weather. All right, in Georgia we have a tornado hurricane called Symbol. I repeat, Symbol. All right, if you haven't seen a hurricane before, we have an example. Let me give it to you. Friend, said he stubbornly, my mind is made up. Not another step will I budge on this errand. What if a wretched old woman does choose to go to the devil, when I thought she was going to heaven? Is that any reason why I should quit my dear faith and go after her? I repeat, it's a symbol. So I'll stock up before that hurricane, takes you. And for Tennessee, we do have a strong rainstorm because the hurricane's gonna pass through there. Characterization, that is... It's really huge. It even has its own name. Thunderstorm characterization. If you have never had a thunderstorm, like people from Antarctica, they have, blizzards. Here's an example. Description of something, he had an indescribable air of one who knew the world. He would not have felt abashed at the governor's dinner table, but the only thing about him that could be fixed upon as remarkable was his staff, which bore the likeness of a great black snake. A great black snake. And we do have a typhoon, and that's located in Japan, California. California. Yes, that's a city inside California. And the typhoon's name Tone. If you've never seen the typhoon, like here in Georgia, then here's an example. My mind is made up. Not another step will I budge on this errand. What if a wretched old woman do choose the devil? What the frick? Go to the devil when I thought she was going to heaven. Is that any reason why I should quit my dear faith and go after her? Late breaking. We do have... There are similarities in the typhoon and the hurricane. That's why they're exactly the same. I'll give you another example of, a different difference, yeah. And what calm sleep would be his that very night, which has to be been spent so wickedly, but purely and sweetly now, in the arms of faith? Yes, it's a very sweet dream. I'm sorry about that. Ad just happened. All right, and we have an analysis of these literally elements. Yes. Weatherman Styles have analyzed the hurricane that's happening in Georgia. First, which is the symbol, hurricane symbol. The carved snake is a symbol that surrounds the devil's staff that could be the representation of an angel that was turned into a serpent for disobeying God in the Bible. The snake tricks Eve into eating the fruit from the forbidden tree. Disobeying God's command, Goodman Brown accepts the devil's trick to use the staff to go more quickly. But just like Eve, he is punished for his weakness by losing his faith. Thank you, Styles, for providing this us. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, and thank you, Danielle, for providing us the second, the thunderstorm in Tennessee, which is characterization, if I'm right. The description of the second traveler allows readers to understand the aura that was being transmitted to Goodman Brown. Nathaniel Hawthorne directly characterizes the traveler to foreshadow how he will affect the life of Goodman and tempt his Christian family. This quote gives an understanding as to why and how people consider the traveler cynical. The overall energy of the traveler caused Goodman to create suspicious. This is demonstrated by the comparison of his staff to a great black snake. Alright. Thank you, Danielle, for providing this. And the third element analysis. Thank you, Kendon, for providing this. Tone. Typhoon tone. That rhymes, I think. I don't know. Alright. Tone. Young Goodman Brown, a dark, gloomy tone is displayed. Brown is struggling to keep his faith in his midst of sin. He is being pressured by figurative demons who believe evil is the nature of mankind and must be your only happiness. This creates a dark, demonic tone to the text, as we can only assume that a figure of evil is certainly influencing bad behavior. This helps the reader picture a hellish background in which evil is glorified. As you see, guys, these have been analyzed by Styles. Kendon. I'm sorry, that was not Styles, that was Isabella. That was Isabella. Nope. Lucia. It was Lucia. I'm sorry. Lucia, Kendon, and Danielle. Thank you for providing this for Channel 5 Action News. Alright. In final analysis, I'm calling HQ. Isabella did do this. I'm sorry. Isabella did do this. There is an analysis of this entire storm that's happening. Yes, climate change has created these two storms. So I'm just, gonna analyze for these for you. Thank you, Isabella, for, giving us this. Alright. In the story Young Goodman Brown, Nathaniel Hawthorne presents the fallen angel that is now cursed to forever be a serpent, a man inciting Goodman Brown to sin in a dark and gloomy description of the story, ultimately illustrating that people's faith is tested and lost. While Goodman was traveling, he came across a man with a staff and was snake-like. This alludes to a story of Adam and Eve and their fall. In this story, there is a serpent that conceived Eve to take a bite of an apple from the tree that God told her not to eat from. She then offered Adam the apple, and therefore caused the first sin. And this serpent was the devil in the Young Goodman Brown. The snake's staff also represents the devil. By representing the devil in the story, Hawthorne shows that the testing of faith, like the story of Adam and Eve, there is a man traveling with Goodman that continually tries to test the limits of Goodman's faith. The man continues to push Goodman through the woods by saying, "Betake you to the woods." The longer Goodman is in the woods, the more he doubts his faith. Goodman tries to get himself out of the forest, but the traveler keeps convincing him to go throughout the woods. The more faith is tested, the tested less faith a person will have, therefore causing them to lose it completely. By continually testing Goodman's faith, the traveler causes Goodman to completely lose his faith. Yes, you must have a strong faith or you're gonna lose it, just like Goodman. So you should be religious. Yeah. Alright. While in the forest, everything is dark and gloomy. In the forest, the road was dreary, according to page 1 of the typhoon. That's analysis, I'm sorry. Meaning the path that Goodman was taking was not pleasant or a good path to take. Also, the sticks were withered and dried up. The nature in the forest never had positive connotation. Nature being represented as a dark gloomy represents corruption. So throughout Goodman's time in the forest, he was surrounded by corruption. therefore in the end causing him to corrupted himself. That's why he lost his faith, and that's why God is disappointed in him. This made his faith be tested and wavered, so he had lost his faith. The darkness of the forest had negative connotation, meaning nothing good will come from the forest. Alright, well that is our 10 minutes of news, guys. Thank you for staying and tuning in for Action 5 Channel News. Later.